Meteorologist Nico Sapienza. We have a lot in the world of weather to talk about tonight. But first, we have a beautiful sunset about to take place over Doak Campbell Stadium. Some cirrus clouds in the background, mostly cloudy skies right now, 83 degrees. And you do have your winds out of the south, right out of the Gulf of Mexico at 10 miles per hour, which is creating some warm and humid conditions. You could see area-wide we're around the mid-80s. You've got some hotter spots, though, up in Valdosta, 87 degrees. This is much warmer than we should be at this time of the year. That's been the story for a while. But we don't really have too much of anything going on the radar today. In fact, we don't have anything at all. We aren't expecting any rain today, but as we move into the weekend, that might change. We have one more hot day in Tallahassee, hot and dry day, and then rainy and cooler over Easter weekend. We have severe weather threat in the Mid-Atlantic, and we're going to talk about the weather in Augusta, Georgia for the Masters Golf Tournament this weekend. All this and more tonight on FSU Weather.
Welcome back. Now, Nico was talking about the beautiful weather happening outside. Beautiful?
That's subjective.
That is subjective.
That is so subjective. It has been absolutely hot recently, and the humidity is not making things any better.
No, not at all, Priscilla. I was sweating on the way over here. I went back home to grab some clothes so I could do Evan's beautiful show, and dripping sweat from a mere 10-minute walk.
It's just not fun. I was in sport mode all day today.
Sport mode.
Athletic shorts, lightweight t-shirt.
That's the way to go.
And the sneakers. You really got to be in sport mode for, honestly, the rest of the semester.
Yeah, staying prepared, staying weather aware is ideal during this time. As we get into the time where we're seeing severe weather, it's really important to stay weather aware, keep your phone nearby, and stay in tune with the weather. Watching us, watching your local weather station.
Absolutely. Make sure you've got your, making sure you're keeping track of Twitter and weather alerts. And also, now's a good time, if you ever lost your umbrella at one point, now is a good time to stock up on that.
Yes, maybe if it went inside out and flew away.
Yeah, or broke at some point.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. We are actually seeing a good amount of rain going through the northern part of the southeast into the mid-Atlantic states, so going into Virginia, Delaware, parts of southern New Jersey. So that's where we're looking for severe thunderstorms occurring. I know there's a severe thunderstorm watch happening in Louisiana, but really we have to keep that umbrella, and we will give you all the info you need throughout the show. But taking a look a little more locally, Parker, what's it looking like?
Yeah, thanks guys. So like we mentioned, we're going to be taking a local look at Florida and what much of the southeast has to offer. But for now, let's enjoy this sunset over Doak Campbell. We have temperatures around 83 degrees outside, cloudy conditions. Some of those clouds are starting to pester out, but winds out of the south at 10 miles per hour right now. Now for the almanac, today we hit a high of 87 degrees. Those blistering temperatures starting to creep back into the forecast because we're edging nearer towards the summertime months. Our low today is 63 degrees. But for our average, we're a little bit higher. We're actually about 10 degrees higher in both categories, but nowhere near that record set back in 1927. For our high temperature at 91 in 1994, we had a low of 32 degrees, right at the freezing point back in 1994. Our current temperatures around the block are somewhere around the low to upper 80s, 79 down in Apalachicola, and a little bit cooler around the coast near St. Mark's and Perry. But as we go northwards and towards the inward parts of the demographic, we see 85 in Monticello, 83 here in Tallahassee, and 86 over in Quincy. Our dew points right now, they're on the rise. We're going towards the nighttime hours. Dew points start to rise. 66 in Perry, 64 here in Tallahassee, 59 up in Valdosta, so feeling a little bit drier. And then, of course, a little bit more muggy down in Apalachicola, 71 for their dew point. Our current local radar showing nothing in the area right now. We've got clear skies, maybe a few cirrus clouds up and about, but for the remainder of the night, we'll stay clear. Taking a broader look towards parts of the southeast, I'll actually step out here so you can see all of this. But we have this frontal system that's draped across the mid-southeast, where we have a stationary front located over just Louisiana and Texas, and then a cold front towards parts of Tennessee up into New York. But what that is going to bring here is that southerly flow off the Gulf, and that's why we're getting those muggy dew points in Apalachicola and whatnot. But future radar starts to show those southerly flow, bringing in some showers, maybe some clouds overnight, and into tomorrow towards midday, we get some showers off to our east. And then for the remainder of Friday night into Saturday morning, much of the same. As for tonight, our temperature is going to dip into the low to mid 60s for our inland territories, then a little bit warmer along the coast. For tonight, our dog walk forecast, it's a great time. Sorry, this is for tomorrow morning. Our dog walk forecast in the morning, we're going to wake up 67 degrees and then gradually get warmer with a slight change of rain for tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be much of the same. For today, it's basically a rinse and repeat, but our high is going to be about 88 degrees rather than 87. Our Easter forecast, I know a lot of people are looking forward to this. Unfortunately, it's looking like a washout right now with highs around 64. And then for our 7-day, hot blistery temperatures with increasing rain chances early to mid next week. I'm going to pass things over to Nico right now.
Thank you, Parker. But yeah, as we look around Florida, it's hot pretty much around the entire state. Daytona Beach is a little bit cooler because you do have your sea breeze coming in right off the beach. So it might feel a little bit nicer, but it's definitely still a good beach day. But as you look in the center part of the state, where you have not had the sea breeze, 87 in Gainesville and 86 in Orlando. This is way hotter than it should be at 6 o'clock in the evening on April 6th. But the weather may change as we go into the weekend, as we do see a currently stalled front that will finally push its way into the area as we go into Saturday, and that will bring us showers and storms and then cooler temperatures as we head into our Easter Sunday. But as for today, all you can see is a little bit of sea breeze showers in far southern Florida. You can see the wind coming out of the east, and the Atlantic sea breeze has pushed in and caused some showers along the southwestern part of the Florida Peninsula today. This is more like a summer-like pattern down there and not a pattern you typically see in April. Central Florida, you're pretty dry right now, but that's going to change as we head into tomorrow and then into the weekend with a more active sea breeze expected. As you look at North Florida, we don't have much in the way of anything anywhere east of Tallahassee, but as you could see, out north of Panama City, you have a few showers along the Gulf Coast sea breeze, which has also pushed inland today and created a little bit cooler temperatures along the coast, but also a few showers and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder west of Tallahassee. But as you look at your current temperatures across the state, we're in the 80s pretty much everywhere in the state right now. We're 83 degrees in Tallahassee. You got 86 degrees in Orlando. The entire state right now is in the 80s. Your coolest spot right now is 81 up in Jacksonville, where the Atlantic sea breeze has moved in. As you look at your drought monitor, though, the rain we're going to have this weekend is well needed, especially across central and southern parts of Florida, where you can see that they're in a severe drought. This would be near Naples, Fort Myers, that area that was affected by Ian in September. Now they're under a drought and they need some more rain so that they don't have to deal with any forest fires. And we are going to get some rain as we head into this week, and you can see the system out by Louisiana on Saturday at midnight. As we get into the day on Saturday, this is going to move east, and it's going to start affecting Florida with a lot more storms. As you can see, showers and storms across all of Florida pretty much as we head into Saturday night, and then by Easter morning, 9 a.m. on Easter Sunday, we may be dealing with some showers as well across the Tallahassee area, across parts of central Florida as well. Taking a look at your 3-day forecast, you do have the storms start to affect Miami on Sunday. As you go into Tampa, it's hot, but then as you head into Sunday, it cools off a little bit. Orlando, you cool off on Sunday, but you're hot and dry until then. Jacksonville, you cool off as you head into the weekend as well. Pensacola may get affected a little bit earlier as we head into the day on Saturday, and the front does move toward the area. But now I'm going to pass things off to Genevieve.
Yeah, thank you. So we're tracking that front going through the mid-Atlantic states, and we're seeing how it's affecting the southeast. Currently, the WeatherStem camera is providing us some beautiful, beautiful clouds, unfortunately, down there in Atlanta, Georgia. 79 degrees. We're getting into those somewhat really spring-like temperatures and getting closer to summer, it's felt like in Tallahassee here today. Tampa, we're seeing 83 degrees, cloudy. Clemson, South Carolina, we're seeing those storms possibly rolling in very soon. Gray clouds on the way. Now for our current temperatures for the southeast, we're seeing, you can see that temperature gradient as we see the colors that go from red, more towards the beautiful greens behind the front that has come in, bringing in those cooler temperatures right behind there. 83 here in Tallahassee with that cooler in Shreveport, Louisiana at 52 degrees. Dew points are following that. We see that line going through the upper part of the southeast, separating that 33 very dry conditions in Little Rock, Arkansas, versus the really quite humid 69 happening down in my hometown of Miami. So we see this green, that's where we have that moisture. That's when the air really feels like you could almost take a cup to it and take a nice little sip. And behind there is that chapstick weather, though it's not too dry, luckily, as we are far out of winter. Puxatawny Phil, I don't know. I always bring you up because winter did not happen. But anyways, on to the low pressure system. Here we have a nice surface map for the region. We are tracking that low pressure go through, ranging all the way from Texas up into the mid-Atlantic states, up into Virginia, which is really causing all the severe thunderstorms and all the rain that is coming to the region. Now, we can also highlight those storms as we see the moisture going through the upper level water vapor, with the bluer and the more colored regions highlighting that rain, and the darker, drier regions behind where we see nice dry conditions. Unlike dry conditions, here we have that future radar going into tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., so right when we're waking up to go to school in New Orleans, that's when you're seeing that rain pass through. That rain will continue going through the southeast until Saturday morning, where that rain will have already reached the Carolinas, looking really quite wet. As you saw, we'll see those rainfall totals really amount to high numbers in Louisiana and going through those mid-Atlantic states. Tonight's forecast, it'll be chilly. Just kidding. It'll be 66 degrees. It'll be pretty warm throughout the region. And tomorrow, throughout Florida, we're looking pretty warm. But Priscilla, I know you're about to walk on screen. You're seeing, I'm really seeing a beautiful white dress, kind of like an angelic cloud. It's kind of going to be rainy, too.
Exactly. It is really going to be raining this Easter weekend. That's our big story we're taking a look at. So again, we've got our surface map showing that stationary front where all that moisture is going to seek and move really out east this weekend, and that could really dampen your Easter plans this weekend. Even in parts of Louisiana, eastern Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi, we've got flood watches. So again, that stationary front is really just making all of that rain sit and not move too much, so it's hard for that water to evaporate and really dry up a lot. So things are going to be very wet and very moist, and it's going to stick to the ground a lot. Taking a look at our flood potential map, again, the whole larger area really is showing marginal and greater slight risk for flood potential, and that's really going to continue moving on to Saturday, where it's going to spread eastward into Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Taking a look at our future radar again, that's showing that storm that's going to be creeping its way eastward throughout the rest of the weekend, and eventually it's going to calm down towards the end of Sunday. So if you have any plans for perhaps an Easter egg hunt, might be wiser to move it later in the day, or if you have any plans to take Easter pictures, it could look a little cloudy in the background, so make sure to save it for later, perhaps when the clouds have moved away. For our rainfall forecast, we're going to be seeing even up to 5 inches of rain in some areas, so it's going to be very moist. The majority of the rain is going to really be focusing on Georgia and South Carolina as we move towards Sunday at 11 p.m. And there's our Easter Sunday forecast. We're going to be very warm across the majority of the United States. Generally, we're seeing a lot of green and yellow colors and really not a lot of freezing colors. So again, we are really diving deep into spring, and that is what we're talking about today. But I'm going to send it over to the desk with Nico and Genevieve. And, you know, what do we got going on, guys, with flood safety?
Well, Priscilla, you're mentioning spring being such a prevalent thing weather-wise, and that is so important because currently we are in severe weather season, right, Nico?
Yeah, we are. We're in severe weather season, but when some of these storm fronts stall, you end up getting floods as well. And that's definitely another danger that we have to worry about at this time of the year. And you can see that there is a flood watch for parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, Tennessee, states that have been hit by severe weather recently. Now they have to deal with this.
Absolutely, and do be aware that this will be in effect until Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time, not Eastern Daylight Time, so please be aware if you have family in that region to contact them, let them know that they will be seeing quite a lot of rain coming their way. And also we just want to make sure that you are aware of what a flood watch versus a warning is. Now a warning, really we want to stress that that's something where you need to take action right now because it is happening currently. Ideally you are moving to a higher ground, and we always say turn around, don't drown, because we don't want you driving or walking into deep water that could cause any issues.
Yeah, you never want to drive through water because you may think it's not deep. It can be deeper than you think, and only a few inches of water can swipe your car away, believe it or not, and that's definitely never a good thing to drive through. But yeah, if you have a warning, you definitely need to pay attention. Even if the watch, you need to be paying attention to the roadways and anywhere with standing water.
Yes, that watch is just waiting for those favorable conditions to roll in, so please, the best way to be weather aware is to keep your phone near you, keep a weather radio and non-perishable goods in the case that a flood is coming your way. Never drive or walk through those waters. Again, there could be downed power lines, there could be debris, or really just anything in the water that could cause some issues. So if you're told to evacuate, you should definitely evacuate immediately. Right?
Yeah, if you're in the evacuation areas, like if you live right along a river, sometimes when you get a lot of rain, they can overflow their banks, and you don't want to end up being in your home when there's water flowing into it. So if they tell you you should evacuate, you should definitely heed any evacuation orders to keep your life safe.
Absolutely, and we'll be tracking all that rain coming to you, and we'll see that rain going through the more southern states such as Georgia, and Parker is going to give us a little bit of a look at how Augusta, Georgia, where the beautiful Golf Masters is occurring right now. Parker, how is it looking?
Oh yeah, the Masters are underway right now. We've got another major that's going to be wrapped up in the books on Sunday, but as we all know, the Masters occur in Georgia. But for right now in Augusta, temperatures are 84 degrees. As we're closing out the first round of the day, we've got cloudy conditions with winds out of the east-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Now, some of the rain in the region is due to that southerly flow that we've been talking about with that stationary front that's draped across parts of the southeast, and they're seeing that in some of the areas. We've got some heavier rain in the red bits, but a little bit of lighter rain nearing Augusta and Sandersville. It's a little bit heavier rain. But for future radar, if we go through tomorrow where we start to tee off in the second round, we see that some showers come out of the northwest, and they start to stick around the 4 p.m. time frame. But as we pan this out and we go towards Saturday's round of golf, it's looking like a washout. So not too sure what they're going to do there with the officials for the PGA's tour, but they'll have to figure that out. We may have some delays on Saturday, possibly even into Sunday morning as we start to see those showers creep in the morning hours. Then by Sunday, it's just going to be cloudy, but again, probably a hot one. But as for tonight in Augusta, temperatures are going to cool down to around the upper 60-degree mark, around 67 for much of the viewing area. And then for the morning tea time forecast, we've got temperatures around the 68-degree mark and then slightly increasing to 77 around noontime, but the chances of rain still exist at around 20% for much of the day, and especially for those tea times. But as for tomorrow, our temperatures are going to cap off around the 80-degree mark for Augusta, Allendale 82, Louisville 82, and Greensboro. We've got thunderstorms out to the west at 75 degrees. As for the rest of the Masters, Friday we've got a 100% chance of rain like we mentioned, Saturday 100% chance of rain, and then Sunday clearing out just a little bit. Stormy weekend ahead. If you're going out to the Masters, keep an umbrella handy, maybe a raincoat, because it's going to be a washout. I'm going to pass things over to Nico right now, where he's going to take a look at
some severe weather across the mid-Atlantic today. But it's actually going to be pretty warm as you head ahead of these storms. It's going to be 82 right now in Richmond, Virginia. This is not good when you have severe weather coming, because these temperatures are only going to add fuel to the fire with the storms. As you can see the cold front that's pretty far back into maybe West Virginia, heading into Virginia, but you can see 85 degrees in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's April 6th. It should not be this warm in northern Virginia. 83 degrees in Raleigh. All these areas are going to get affected by these storms as you head into this evening and tonight. We do have a slight risk, or a level 2 out of 5 risk, for severe thunderstorms from the far northwestern part of North Carolina, north through Virginia, Washington, D.C., Maryland, all the way into southern New Jersey. So if you know anyone who lives in this area, definitely make sure that they're aware of the threat of severe weather, especially damaging winds, which is our highest threat along this squall line that's going to move through. It may not be a tornado, but damaging winds can still do a lot of damage. It's just winds coming from the same direction. That's like what you have in a hurricane too, and you see the damage they do. So if you get a severe thunderstorm warning, you still need to take that seriously. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch for this area until 10 p.m. tonight. So that's indicating that we do have the favorable conditions for strong to severe thunderstorms across the mid-Atlantic states this evening. And as you can see the squall line. You've got severe thunderstorms in northern Virginia. You have another severe thunderstorm warning in southern Virginia that's headed right toward the interstate. You've got one right over Washington, D.C., which is not good for these people. If you're going to Washington, D.C. to go outside and walk around, you have a severe thunderstorm warning right now, so you may want to hold off on walking around inside right now until this storm passes, especially the northern part of Washington, D.C. This is a radar-indicated severe thunderstorm, but it does include Washington, D.C., so that's a tourist area. You need to stay safe if you're in this area right now. As you head towards your future radar, you can see that there's a lot of convective available potential energy. That's instability. This will fuel these storms, and you can see the line of storm stays intense this evening as it goes all the way from near Raleigh, North Carolina to off the coast of about Atlantic City, New Jersey. If you know anyone in this area, they need to be weather aware this evening. And even as we head into tonight, by 1 in the morning, northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, you're still dealing with the threat of a few isolated severe storms even at night, which can be even more dangerous. Another threat you're going to have with this is some brief heavy rain. You may not have too much, but if you get enough quickly in one spot, it can always be bad too. So you need to stay weather aware, turn around, don't drown, and pay attention to any severe weather warnings this evening and tonight. But now I'm going to pass things off to Priscilla.
Yes, thank you, Nico. And now we're going to take a look at our lifestyle forecast. So right now we're taking a look at our local area cameras. We see gorgeous skies out and about, slight clouds, especially over Lake Bradford, but nothing too crazy, nothing too severe, no precipitation to be seen. So if you're heading out tonight in College Town, it's going to be a nice night. You can probably wear a nice outfit that you've been planning and not have to worry about a jacket covering up. So that will be very fun, and you won't have to worry about any rain either, but we will see some rain later on. Again, backyard forecast, it's going to be very hot tomorrow. If you want to read a book on the porch or the patio, it's going to be very warm, so I actually would not advise doing that. I know my patio is actually covered deeply in pollen, so we actually have to clean that up before we can even enjoy time out there. If you want to head to the beach tomorrow, it's going to be a nice day to go to the beach, except for something we'll take a look at in just a second. But it's going to be in the upper 70s. Water temperature is warming up, so it won't be too cold if you want to jump in the water. But again, it won't be the best day to go to the beach because there is a high rip current risk. Here we've got our rip current statement all along the coast of the Big Bend, all the way from this cape right here to past Panama City. So that's up until Friday at 4 a.m. So if you want to head to the beach after 4 a.m., maybe if you want to see sunrise, that rip current should hopefully be gone by then. If you want to check out FSU baseball tonight, go support our Noles. It's going to be a nice night to do so tonight. Game starts at 8 p.m. It's going to cool down a little bit towards the end of the game, but it'll be a nice night. Tomorrow, it will be a little bit warmer during the game versus Clemson, starting at 6 p.m., and it really won't cool down too much for the rest of that game. FSU softball, go support our Lady Noles. They could see some delays looking towards the games tomorrow. So yeah, they could see some delays, and that won't really make for the best viewing conditions, but hopefully not. Weekend planner, it's going to be hot tomorrow, stormy Saturday and Sunday. Absolutely really dampening our Easter weekend forecast. I know I'm heading home, but if you're in town, it will be raining. But Genevieve, what's it looking out and about in the rest of town?
Well, Priscilla, out and about, we're seeing that beautiful sun right behind me, glowing, looking so beautiful through the clouds, peeking its way through for a nice sunset this evening. Currently, we do see those clouds. Unfortunately, it's not a fully clear and blue sky, but 83 degrees, really warm conditions, and we don't get too much relief from the wind, unfortunately, coming out of the south at 10 miles per hour. We'll see our conditions in Tallahassee really quite warm throughout the Big Bend region. I would say the coolest on this map, reaching down to 79 degrees down by the coast at Apalachicola. But really further inland, we're seeing those mid 80 degrees where it's starting to feel like summer. Luckily, we don't have any rain in the forecast currently. We are looking nice and clear, and also no prescribed burns currently. That's something I haven't seen in the past couple days, but that's great that we have a nice clear radar. The future radar, we cannot say that we're seeing those clear conditions. Those storms are going to start roll into Tallahassee going through this weekend, like Priscilla said, putting a little bit of a damper on our Easter weekend. But tonight, if you want to head on over to the baseball stadium, currently it'll be really warm, but later tonight into the overnight hours, 65 degrees here in Tallahassee. We'll reach into that hot 88 degrees tomorrow for Good Friday. And Easter weekend, you're looking pretty warm, but we are seeing some rain. Now, how about our show? What did we talk about, Priscilla, Parker?
It was an absolutely great show. We've got that stationary front and that mid-Atlantic front really affecting our Easter weekend. Do you have any plans this weekend, Parker?
I'm going to Tampa to visit my girlfriend's family for Easter this weekend. What about you?
I'm actually heading home to Jacksonville. I'm actually going to the fair back home, so that'll be fun for me. But not going to be a fun weekend for anyone really trying to enjoy Easter. Is that right?
Yeah. What kind of fair?
I'm
interested.
Just
what kind
like
of fair is
agricultural fair,
it? Oh, cool.
rides, food. I've been craving fair food recently.
Awesome.
So I heard it was going on back home, and I was like, okay, sign me up.
Yeah, I was just at the Strawberry Fest a couple weekends ago, so I got my fair share of fair food,
Yeah,
if you will.
that's
Very
for
greasy,
sure.
but we all deserve it every once in a while.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure it was pretty hot, wasn't it?
Yeah, much like those temperatures that we're experiencing now, it was hot then, and it'll be hot for basically here on out for the remainder of the spring.
But yeah, make sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU weather.
You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU weather.
And you're probably watching us live right now on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe at FSU weather and like our videos.
And you can follow us over on Instagram at FSU weather.
And make sure to follow us on TikTok as well. And again, we are no longer streaming to WFSU, just YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. I'm student meteorologist Priscilla Vijalta.
And I'm meteorologist Parker Beasley. And to end things, we're going to send things over to the wall with Nico for a last look at the 7-day.
Yes, thank you, Parker and Priscilla. We do have one more dry and hot day tomorrow. We've got a wet Easter weekend, but as you can see with the clouds and the moisture, as we head into Sunday and Monday, we're going to have our coldest temperatures we've had in a while, our first below average days in a while, and as we may have a Gulf low develop toward the middle and end of next week, we have more wet weather coming. Have a great evening, Tallahassee.